Greetings! Welcome to the SciFi Pubcast, the podcast that tries to be a pub, and perhaps someday a pub that tries to be a podcast. And as always, we are looking for customers to come visit our bar. So if you're passionate about something, want to be on a podcast, well, let us know, because this bar is all about community. If you want to help us out, well, consider leaving a 5-star review wherever you find the show, joining our Discord server, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. I'm Joel. I'm the owner of the SciFi Pubcast, so to speak. And yes, guess what? We lost our previous recording. We're doing the show again. So, we just had an hour-long conversation on WandaVision, which is lost to the gods. Some evil villain has screwed up the recording at the very last minute. We were shutting it down, and we lost the recording. But we're doing this again because why not?
Do we blame Mephisto or do we blame Wanda for this?
I'm blaming everyone. That's just for my attitude right now. But saying that, we have Keri Simpson and Derek Beebe in the house. And I've just poured myself a glass of wine because I've been drinking tea and that didn't work. Hopefully the wine goes down better. Yes. Adventures in podcasting. And what's going to be amazing is because if you're watching this YouTube video, on YouTube, I should say, not as a podcast, you will see the lights on me will be slowly getting darker and darker and darker because the batteries in the lights are going to be drained. Yes, that's going to end up happening. It's almost like I'm in my own alter reality, my own little pocket reality, so to speak, dealing with stresses and anxiety issues in my life. Kind of like Wanda Maximoff.
Oh, this is just a lesson for us that we need to have a backup recording for future reference.
Yeah, there we go. And I'm using good quality stuff. It does happen, but so be it. Just to let you folks know, Renogram sends his regrets. He's not on this show. He's busy with his life. You know how it works. But he sends his regards. Of course, Reno is the author of Before Life and Afterlife Crisis by ECW Books. So go ahead and support Reno by buying his books or saying good things about him. Keri, how's your day been? In Southern California, after we lost an hour-long recording. Besides that, how's your day going?
Well, it's apparently a nice sunny day outside, which is a break from the monster rainstorm we had yesterday. So that was nice. I used yesterday's stormy weather as an excuse to replenish my marinara sauce supply. So I have like the equivalent of like 3 jars of marinara sauce now chilling in the fridge. So yay.
Excellent. And Derek, my friend, how you doing in Pennsylvania?
I feel like I'm trapped in a hellish purgatory where I'm forced to replay the same scenes over and over again for some reason.
Oh god!
Oh, you're stuck in a time, or you're stuck in a time loop. Who did you piss off? Who did you piss off, Derek?
Someone very powerful.
Oh dear.
It's a bad day when I have to ask Derek about the kitchen for the second time. Okay, on the same day. Derek, how's our kitchen doing?
God, I have to say it again. The item I made for this week, I call the gum in the works. What I did was I made a little replication of Vision's torso with his gears and stuff using Necco wafers, and then I stuck a big piece of gum in the middle of it so you can eat the wafers and the gum. Now, Joel, you're from Canada. I don't know if they have Necco wafers there. They're this candy that they give out at Halloween. They're very kind of like chalky tasting and not very good. Now, I actually learned today from my supplier that it actually is chalk, just with sugar sprinkled on it. I mean, that's what he told me anyway. They taste a little different, but, hey, who am I to argue?
Hey, Joel?
Yes?
We have enough Ewoks on staff now for the security team. Don't you think it's time I took over the kitchen?
It
might be safer.
I don't know, Keri. That might be a good idea, but I have this loyalty thing going on with my people, and I'm loyal to my people, and
I mean, we could, make Derek the janitor. I mean, he's been on a cleaning spree lately.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he can be our book keeper and check out.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
But
I do already use the mop to clean the dishes.
Oh God. Okay, yeah. So this is how. I can't. This is. You can't be grown so many times in one single day. Okay.
Speak for yourself, dude.
Okay. So this show, we're talking about WandaVision. That's the Disney Plus MCU Marvel TV show, and we're talking season 1, episodes 1, 2, and 3. And before we get into it, please take note. We're talking major spoilers from these episodes. Again, episodes 1 through 3, and we are talking about speculation about the future of the series and on the MCU during Phase 4 and Phase 5. So we may get things right. We likely will get things wrong. If you're very sensitive about spoilers, this may not be the show for you. So let's get into it.
It's not that we know anything about future episodes. We're just guessing.
Yeah. Yes. I can't wait until Luke Skywalker shows up in episode 9. But I digress. Has
anyone told Mark Hamill about this?
Yeah, exactly. WandaVision. What the fuck?
I forgot to mention the last time around, Joel, but I find it amusing that you pointed out several months ago that reminding me that we can swear on this podcast, and yet I'm the only one who takes full advantage of that, and I feel bad. Except that now you're swearing too. So yeah.
There we go. Yes, I don't know. When things don't go my way, yeah, I get to swear more. That's kind of how my life operates. My brain operates.
I'm not complaining at all, Joel. Like I said, I'm usually the one who has the worst potty mouth on this show, and so it's kind of nice to not be the one with the bad reputation once in a while.
Yeah, there you go. But we're talking about WandaVision. So let's see. WandaVision. Since my computer crashed, I have to open up certain things again. But it's a story about Wanda Maximoff. I see it as a story about her dealing with her grief about losing vision, about the snap, about her
She's
upbringing.
blind?
No, not perfect.
Well, I don't know that it's just grief about losing vision, though. I think it's grief about losing her brother and her home and them trying to lock her up and being snapped and then coming back and not having time to grieve while she goes and kicks the crap out of Thanos. I think it's more than just Vision that Wanda is dealing with. Vision is just like the straw that broke the camel's back. So to say.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely accurate, and perhaps Vision brings some level of stability to that relationship. They're an odd couple.
They are.
Yeah. And it goes from there. And you look at it, and I don't know, guys. What do you make of this whole WandaVision thing?
Derek, you go first this time. Did we lose Derek?
Oh my God, I'm going to lose it myself. Derek, we lost. Derek's not.
We lost Derek. Okay.
Wait, Derek. Wait, is he there? Wait.
I'm just gonna go since Derek is like running away and shit. So I love this whole mindfuckery aspect of the show. I am on board. I have no idea where this is going. I have no idea who all is in charge or responsible for this entire thing. I have a feeling it's a confluence of several factors, but I'm on board and I like it so far. It's zany and fucked up and very fun.
I think it needs a laugh track, more laugh track. Actually, I think our show needs a laugh track, but I digress there.
You could probably fix that in post. Joel.
Yeah, probably could. Yes, if I'm in the right humor. Derek, you're back, man. Sorry, you went out to a different dimension and come back? Like, what's happening with you?
Yeah, I just wanted to blow my nose. I like the show.
Bonus
I was a little surprised that 3 episodes in we haven't gotten more plot movement or explanation, but it is a 9-episode show, so we're only at the end of Act 1 of 3. So, once I accepted the fact that that's what the format is, I'm cool with it. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's fun to speculate about what's going on because there's so many false flags and Easter eggs and red herrings. It could be so many things. It could be just Wanda behind it. It could be Mephisto, who is the Marvel version of the devil. It could be the High Evolutionary, who's a Marvel villain with ties to Wanda's origins. It could be witches. It could be Agnetha Harkness. It could easily be any of these things. It's all up in the air, so it's fun to speculate.
It could be several of these things working either at cross purposes.
Yeah, it could be more
together.
than one thing.
Yeah, before we get into the whole thought puzzle nature of WandaVision, let me pose this question to you guys, because if you're not into the MCU as a diehard fan, if you are unaware of all the Easter eggs that's being presented, and if you're looking at this TV show and you're not looking at it as a puzzle to figure out, but rather a piece of entertainment you just want to put on and escape from your own reality by going into this altered reality, do you think it's working? Because I have a lot of people I know, like casual non-podcasting friends, and they don't like this TV show. And of course, I tell them to give it time and think of it as a thought puzzle, but it's just so different. So that's why I asked the question, what the fuck? This is kind of a WTF type, series, and on one level I find that quite interesting. Another level I'm finding it annoying, and I don't have a strong feeling yet. What do you guys make?
I think this is the show. If you're watching it episodically, is probably not a good fit for someone who's just a casual Marvel fan, even if they've only watched some of the movies or even if they've watched all of the movies and don't know some of the background on the characters. It may not be a good fit for them to just watch the show as the episodes drop. It may be more beneficial for them to wait until all 9 episodes are out and then just watch it as like a 4.5-hour movie, give or take. The credits and shit. I think that because I would not consider myself a Marvel expert. I don't read the comics and stuff like that, but I do know a lot of the background about Wanda, about not so much Vision. I really wasn't familiar with Vision until he was introduced to in the MCU, but I think having some knowledge. I mean, I've heard the term House of M. I didn't read the storyline, but I've heard some of those terms. So having some knowledge is helpful, and might be more necessary if you expect to get some kind of benefit out of this particular TV show. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think it's been... Oh, go ahead, Dirk.
I think it's it's obviously supposed to be unsettling and weird. It's not a traditional Marvel story, but I think it's important that they do this sort of thing. They have to diversify the kinds of stories they tell, or else it's going to get boring. Not every movie or story can be about a group of heroes fighting a disposable CGI army pouring out of a sky portal. That would get boring fast, and Marvel would stop being the top of the game then. So they have to do weird things like this every once in a while just to change it up. They have to, go into different genres, which is an easy thing to do with the Marvel Universe. The comics go into so many different places. So it's good that they're doing this. It's unfortunate that this is the first Disney Plus show. It was supposed to have been Falcon and Winter Soldier out of the gate, but COVID delayed that further because that is a proper traditional Marvel action movie, and it takes a lot more work. So they were hoping to lead with something normal. They had to lead with this instead, but, it is what it is.
Define normal, Derek.
Normal means there's good guys fighting bad guys, and there's big multi-million-dollar action sequences, and
Oh, okay. I guess that works as normal. But yeah, I don't really truck with this whole normal thing. So, I mean, we do know that WandaVision is supposed to lead directly into Multiverse of Madness, which is the second Doctor Strange movie. So it's possible that we will have some kind of resolution. It's possible that we will have some kind of cliffhanger type thing where it says, see how this all works out in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and then I may have to throw a few things, but we'll see.
I cannot believe I'm making this comparison, but to me, WandaVision is very much weird literature or weird fiction. It's a thought positive to be figured out. So it's kind of like Dr. Renaud Graham's Before Life book or Afterlife book, where you're trying to figure out what's going on, and that's part of the fun. Yes, Randall, I just compared your books to Marvel. There you go, man. So it's okay. So there's that. So you have to ask yourself too, what's happening in the MCU in Phase 4 and Phase 5, right? What's happening in the next 10 years?
We don't know.
Yeah, this is the first IP that's been released. This series, WandaVision in Phase 4.
Well, this is the first Marvel thing we've had released in about a year. So
year and a half.
Yeah.
And a half. Thank you, COVID. And as much as I admire their stubborn willingness to wait for theaters to be open, I think something I've said this on other shows. At some point, even something as anticipated as, say, Black Widow is going to be held off for so long that no one's going to care.
Yeah, and
then it won't matter how much money they could possibly have made. They're just not gonna make back on their investment at that point. So why not just pull the ripcord, release everything on Disney Plus, and
I think
that's actually the exact reason why Force Awakens made so little money. It took place so long after Return of the Jedi, nobody cared anymore.
Yeah.
So long after Return of the Jedi, or so long after Revenge of the Sith was released?
But it was the proper sequel to Return of the Jedi, so
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well,
sure.
There's a threat that people wouldn't care anymore, and the MCU has been around for a long time, and it needs to change generations, because any pop culture stuff and anything in terms of, say, music, it's driven by younger folks. Because they're the ones who are buying the stuff constantly, and there's the ones who going to the concerts and going to the cinema, all that good stuff.
Well, they're not going. They're not going.
Not right now, but yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? This is the theory, right?
Yeah.
We live in interesting times. Let's just say that,
We do.
right? So MCU, there's lots of theories out there. There's a lot more detailed analysis on the Easter eggs that we've seen in WandaVision through the first 3 episodes. You can go down this rabbit hole big time on YouTube, which I did last couple of days. There's so many videos out there, and there's so many theories and speculation. Are mutants come back to the MCU as being part of the MCU, right? Is this happening? Is WandaVision a backdoor for the introduction of mutants? Is it laying the groundwork for the Fantastic Four? Is this the whole idea that the MCU is happening over so many multiverses or multi-universes that there's now this long-term 8-year plan where these multiverses are coming back to being one universe with all
I mean, if all of the rumors surrounding Spider-Man 3 are true, I mean, Spider-Man 3 is shaping up to be the MCU's version of Crisis on Infinite Earths. So
yeah, strap yourself in and hold on, because it's going to get zany quite quickly, and it's comic books.
Well, I mean, I have seen rumors that, to your point about is this the introduction of mutants? I have seen a couple of articles talking about how they are, since they can finally talk about whether or not Wanda and Pietro were mutants, because it was implied that they were Inhumans in the MCU, and they changed the comics to reflect that, but they never actually directly said that they were Inhumans, and they never actually went through the Terrigen Mist. So the theory is that they were always mutants, and that whatever was done to them with the Mind Stone just amped up their powers.
Right. Yeah, because in the movie itself, Age of Ultron, the implication is just that they're the only two to survive the experiments just because they were so angry and full of rage at Stark. Yeah. But you could easily just say that the only reason they survived it is because they were the only mutants in the batch, and it activated their latent gene.
Well, and I mean they are the children of Magneto, so and he might just be. He might just be a little bit important, or a little bit more powerful than most mutants out there. So if they inherited, like, if just a fraction of his strength, then yeah.
Yeah, he's so metal. But let's talk about how attractive these characters are and their backgrounds, right? Because Wanda Maximoff and her brother Petro Maximoff, they're from this fictional Eastern European country called Sokovia, like the Sokovia Accords, which was named after that, of course, what happened in Age of Ultron. Basically, they hated the Americans and they hated the Western countries because of the violence, because of the Stark thing, with Stark being the industry that built the missile that killed a bunch of their loved ones. They were recruited by a Hydra fellow by the name of Wolfgang von Strucker, who makes the appearance, at least his name makes an appearance during a commercial, during WandaVision. They were experimenting on using Scepter, which is otherwise known as the Mind Stone. And throughout the Age of Ultron, we have the creation of Vision. And of course, the Mind Stone is part of Vision, which was a key plot point in Avengers Infinity Wars and Endgame. So so Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I think we're getting more comic book influences than, say, previous MCU movies influences and with WandaVision. And this is where the speculation can go wild. There's so many different theories and interpretation just on WandaVision itself. For instance,
this could be like a reverse House of M type thing.
Yeah, so reverse type of M. We've seen a lot of references. Like, who's this sword organization? Any idea? Because
strategic weapon.
No, sentient weapons.
Sentient weapons.
Observation response division.
Right.
But in the comics, the W is not weapon; it's world. So is it the outer space version of SHIELD? Wait a sec, they're known as sword. One's defensive, at least suggests defensive posturing, like SHIELD. Sword suggests an offensive posturing. And because we see
as a result of the snap and Thanos' attack on Earth, probably they want to be more proactive now.
Well, which isn't to say they weren't being proactive before, because I mean, Nick Fury does say in the first Avengers movie that SHIELD ramped itself up in response to Thor showing up and having the Guardian wreak havoc on little town in New Mexico, and it's like, well, if these aliens can show up out of nowhere, we need to get our shit together, and make sure that we have some kind of plan or some kind of contingency to deal with any other aliens that show up.
If only Fury had run into aliens before that, like in the 90s or something.
It would be a Marvel. Yeah.
Oh
God.
and I mean, this isn't to say that there hasn't been a history of extremely powerful mutants wreaking havoc on the world in general. Hello, Jean Grey, Professor X, Magneto, Apocalypse. I could go on. So,
Yeah, God, I'm just looking at it because you look at it, each episode corresponds with a TV trope during a certain period, right? So the first episode's the 1950s, then moves to the 60s, third episode's the 70s. You have like a Brady Bunch influence. You have Mailer Tyler. I can't say the name.
Dick Van Dyke actually
Dick-
consulted. They also was a consultant on the first episode.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things. We'll get into some of the film language and some of the tropes in a bit. I still want to flesh out what's happening with some of these characters, but I don't know. I actually think it's Wanda's dealing with her grief about all these issues, losing her brother, her vision, the consequences of the snap, the violence, the death, the loss of connection with everyone, the fact that she's been in the States as opposed to Sokovia, so it's this disconnecting from the homeland. It's her trying to struggle with it by altering reality while suffering from probably mental illness at the same time.
I think you're not wrong that it's probably a good deal of her, but that isn't to say that there isn't some other outside force or multiple outside forces swooping in to take full advantage of the fact that she is having a mental breakdown. And I mean, we've seen hints that it might be Mephisto with all the devils in the details. 666 is popping up a lot of places. The hexagons in the show and stuff like that. So is it just him? Is it Agatha? Is it Agatha Harkness? Is it Nightmare? Is it all of the above? What's going on here?
Yeah. And there's other theories that why all these witches? Are the witches in prison, or they're just gathering? What's up with that?
Hey, you know what? We were put on trial for a reason. I guess I don't know.
You can, I'm sure you can stake on it, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I personally think that it's going to be the most simplest explanation, which is just that Wanda created this spell or world or whatever in order to resurrect Vision, and it got out of control, and now she's trapped in it, and she's not consciously controlling it, but every once in a while she kind of comes to a little bit and freaks out. I mean, it could be Mephisto, it could be witches, it could be the High Evolutionary, it could be Agnes Harkness. But I don't know. I just kind of expect a simple explanation at the end of it. I could easily be wrong. It could go either way. They're hinting in every direction.
Do you think she's just trying to resurrect Vision, or do you think she might try to resurrect Pietro as well?
Yeah, that would make sense. Like, if you could do one, why not do the? Well, I mean, he's a robot and the other guy is a person. But yeah, I mean, it could be. The other less likely thing is that she's doing it in order to create the children. There is a possibility that this does not take place after Infinity War and Endgame, that it takes place between Civil War and Infinity War, and Vision is still alive, and she and Vision are doing the spell together to try to create children because they're in love. But that's unlikely.
I don't know about that, because Vision seems to be catching on to the idea that there is something wrong. And it doesn't seem like he is aware of what has been happening. And apparently there was an end credit scene filmed for Endgame where Wanda's standing over Vision's body, and then something happens. Not that Endgame actually needs an end credit scene, but if it is filmed, then maybe they work that into the show somehow.
Yeah, could be.
We have the twins, right? So we have in episode 3 at the end of the episode. Suddenly, there's 2 kids there.
Yep, Billy and Tommy.
Yeah. So
otherwise known as Speed and Wiccan.
Yeah. Right. So were they birth because Wanda, altered reality and willed them into existence, or do you think they came about through more conventional means, i.e.,
I
Wanda
don't know.
and
I don't know
Vision, Dune?
Well, given the equipment that Vision is packing, I'm going to go with mystical origin.
and given the fact that they were basically created within a day, I'm going to go with something mystical. Although I suppose they could have found a way to, have them be created by conventional means, just, very, very sped up.
Hey, maybe it's a Gremlins crossover. Because
dear
Gremlins are born
gods.
that quickly.
Oh God,
dear gods.
no.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Vision is really Gizmo.
Oh.
Yeah, God. Thank God.
No,
Disney...
no. Actually, no. That doesn't work, Derek, because
Oh, Gizmo's the mom. Yeah.
No, because they both got wet when her water broke because and nothing else weird happened to them.
Thank God about that. But what is also weird is, why is Wanda speaking with a perfect American accent if she's from this Eastern European country called Sokovia? And
because she's trapped in a fake world.
Yeah, there's that, right? And every single
every
MCU movie in the last couple of years, when she's been losing more and more of her accent, and now
she's trying to blend in.
Yeah, so
I think she's trying to blend in. Yeah,
like Madonna in England.
Oh, God.
Well, no, I wasn't gonna go there. I actually would have gone. Let's jump franchises for a bit, and in The Expanse, Naomi's accent when she's on the Rocinante is way different than the accent she has around Bolter. So it's either an affectation on Wanda's part so that she can blend in more, because they do point out that she isn't that she isn't American by birth on the show. So it's either an affectation, or maybe Lizzie Olsen just doesn't want to do the accent.
Yeah, I think it's just part of the whole idealistic version Wanda has about American life. Because you think about it, if she's in Eastern Europe, she's probably watching old American television as a child to learn how to speak English. And so we have this idealistic version of Americana, the small town, the gazebo at the center of the town itself, these community groups. We have consumerism writ large with all these commercials. We have suburbia. We have neighbors, especially the noisy neighbor trope that comes in, right? And even the name of the town, Westview, right? If she's living in Eastern Europe, it's a view to the west. So I think that's
I didn't think about that
bit of a giveaway there.
I thought it was a reference to West Coast Avengers, but it could be both.
Yeah. It's open to interpretation, you could say. So let's get into the whole, the film language stuff, right? The communication theory aspect of WandaVision, because it's neat. Because each episode, again, goes through different periods of time in TV history. But we have laugh tracks that happen in the second one, right? You want to know if this devil guy, what's his name?
Mephisto?
Yeah, Mephisto is maybe showing up. Well, look no further than the laugh track, because that's an instrument of the devil.
Well, and again, this is not my theory. This was brought up on another podcast. But when you're talking about the stork, she's trying to make that stork go away, and the stork is pretty much doing what he wants to do.
Right.
And but only when she's watching. When Geraldine is actually looking at the stork, the stork just pretends that it's part of the scenery and stuff. So
yeah, I think our little podcast needs a laugh track. It'll probably improve things. I'll put it in post.
You can fix that in post.
Yeah,
just don't corrupt the file. I'm not doing this again.
It's my recording software, which I'm trying to avoid being angry right now. But they had to do an update so that it stopped talking to Skype while we were recording. But I digress.
This is a lesson for all you podcasters out there. Check for updates before you start recording.
I did.
You did. Oh my god.
Why do you think I'm so angry? I'm seeing red. And speaking of red, red's kind of like Wanda's color, isn't it? Right? And it's the importance.
It's color for powers.
It's color for powers. But we see
color of her outfit,
color of her hair, red hair, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's also the color of the devil. Devil usually dresses in red.
Right. They had red wine at the dinner in the first episode, so there's that.
Yeah,
right?
True.
Vision's skin tone is red.
There you go. And of course, the first episode was black and white, except for a few different spots. The toaster oven commercial, where there's a wet indicator on that. And of course, it made the same sound as the missile from Stark Industries did, so it refers probably back to childhood trauma, which is awful, but probably true.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. In other episodes, we see the little tiny red helicopter. We see that the blonde woman, I always forget her name.
Dottie.
Yeah, Dottie. There's a name, right?
Who is Anya from Buffy, by the way. I didn't notice that at first.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew about that.
Yeah.
I thought it was the blonde reporter lady in Iron Man 1 in like another role because she looks very similar to her with that hair.
Maybe.
Yep, and just going back to communication theory, I think colors are important because you look at TV, you look at, say, the commercials, and we have to talk about the commercials because what's up with those commercials?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But, TV, all TVs use this basic color scheme of red, blue, and green. So if you have the red, what's the blue and green? Are they going to?
Well, those are the three primary colors for light.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Is there any villains or organizations that are represented by blue or green? Who knows? That's another way to look into it and speculate. And of course, you have all the style choices and the homages. Like, how many TV sitcoms are they going to refer to? It's great. But we've talked about this in our last recording that didn't work out. But do you think generations of fans, younger generations, like younger folks right now, will get and understand all the homage, all the references to the old sitcoms? What do you guys think?
It depends on what they were raised on.
Yeah, absolutely. Derek, do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that someone who's in their teens or 20s or younger probably never saw any of these shows. I mean, I'm pushing 40, and I actually saw a lot of this stuff on Nick at Night as a kid. So I've seen a bunch of 50s and 60s shows. I grew up on I Love Lucy, Dick Van Dyke's Show, Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, Beverly Hillbillies, Mr. Ed. So I get all these references, and that's fun. And I do kind of wonder if it's just going to fall on deaf ears for the younger generation.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's part of the reason why, if this isn't your thing, but you want to see the show, maybe you wait until all 9 episodes have dropped and then you just watch them all together. That way you see the progression, you see what they're trying to do, rather than just wait a week and just sit there going, what the fuck is this what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, we're talking about TV communications theory, which is all about manipulation, right? This is Marshall McLuhan stuff, right? And so the minimum is the message. And we're looking at, say, the commercials specifically. They're trying to sell, items to people who do not really need the items. They're manipulating us, right?
Right.
And
but they're those commercials are also referencing, points of pain for Wanda. So that's one thing. The other thing is apparently Kevin Feige specifically said that the commercials are going to have a sinister nature, and that got a few people thinking that maybe Mr. Sinister is involved somehow, because apparently he's had dealings with Wanda and Mephisto and several other people, which I would not be opposed to seeing Sinister on screen, although the last time I also wasn't opposed to seeing Apocalypse on screen, and we saw how that worked out.
I can't think of a single comic book story that Sinister and Scarlet Witch were both in together, but hey, anything's possible.
Yeah. And then we get this beekeeper. What's up with that? Is it the hive thing? It's because it's the same shape as the hexagons. The beekeeper had a sword insignia on the back of his little white beekeeping suit. What's up with, I know, it's bugging me really badly.
Well, visually, that's what the AIM scientists in the comic books look like. They kind of have these yellow beekeeper suits in combat. But AIM was used in Iron Man 3, and I'm sure that has nothing to do with this. It's just a coincidence. It is weird though. I don't understand why she's seeing him swarming with bees. Maybe it's I have no idea.
See, I suffer happily from having watched 2 seasons of Doom Patrol. So I saw the beekeeper show up. I'm like, wait a second, what is Elongated Girl doing in this show? It's the wrong franchise.
Wow, just wow. Yeah, so it kind of, with Wanda, do you guys think this is just in her head, or is it part of reality? What's up with all the other characters? Because they seem to be very fearful that they are going to be, blinked out of existence if Wanda looks at them the wrong way.
Well, the ending of episode 3 did show that it is a city encased in a magical barrier, so it is a physical location. And now I personally think that the people, the neighbors, the city dwellers inside the construct are not actual people. They're just parts of the simulacrum. I think the only real people are Agnes and Monica and the one next door neighbor who at the end of episode 3 was having a hushed conversation with Agnes. I think those are the only 3 real people aside from Wanda and Vision. I think everybody else is just a fake. But I could be wrong, because those witch people in episode 2 could be actual witches. Who knows?
I think the town might be hostages of some kind. By the way, Mr. Sinister was in House of M. And yeah, but I think he did have some dealings with Scarlet Witch in the comics.
They may have appeared in the same stories together, but he never was responsible for manipulating her life or anything like that.
Apparently she seemed to kill him at one point.
Well, yeah, she probably did that in House of M. I think she goes crazy and starts killing everybody. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you guys want to happen in this series? How do you think this WandaVision series season 1 is going to be resolved?
I don't know. I think that's part of the fun of it. Just take yourself along for the ride. Pay attention to what's going on, and all the relevant mind bleepery, and just go with it.
I think it's probably going to have the obvious ending of Wanda resurrecting Vision and getting the kids out. But it could also go dark, and it could end with her insane or villainous going Dark Phoenix. And for all we know, she could be the villain in Doctor Strange too. We don't know. We know she's in the movie. We don't know who the villain is yet in it. So she could be there as an ally, or she could be the big bad.
Yeah, she could pull a Hercules and kill her entire family, and then have to do 12 labors. Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, that's what's fun about the show. It could go any way, and any way would be proper and set up well and make sense. So it's exciting to watch.
Personally, I just want Wanda to recover from her grieving and her mental illness, and have some strong mental health help to come back to her, and live happily ever after with Vision and the 2 kids. That would be good drama, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh, God. What else is there, guys? Talk to me. With me.
I don't remember what jeez.
We've been talking for about 45 minutes now on round 2. Is there any last thoughts you guys may have before we close the doors of this pub and wrap up the show.
One other crazy thing that I doubt was probably just a throw in, but at one point in one of the cartoons when they're going between floors, you see the helmet of the Grim Reaper in between the floors. The Grim Reaper is the brother of Wonder Man, who in the comic books is the human brain that Vision's brain is based on. Now, they didn't do that in the movies. We haven't even seen Wonder Man in the movies yet, but who knows? Maybe it's Grim Reaper behind it all. It could be anything.
Maybe.
Oh, wow. All right. Again, any last thoughts, folks?
I don't know. I don't remember what we talked about in the first recording. So
I made more puns in the first recording. Oh well.
I'm sure we did.
I don't want to go down the rabbit hole.
I think I swore more in the first recording too, which is odd because we're having to do this shit again.
Yeah. Hey, let me just say I really like the magic show in the second episode. Though I think some parts were a bit hairy. There we go. I'm here all night, folks. No, I know I'm not.
Oh God, are we going to be here all night doing this?
No, please, gods, no.
All right, let's shut the doors to the old pub and get out of here. This show is released as a podcast and on YouTube, generally a day or two after it's released as a podcast. Please subscribe today. Check out our Discord server. It's a great source of news and discussion. Oh, and of course, subscribe to YouTube. So with Discord, you can find our Discord server on our social media. Speaking of which, we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I do the Twitter and Instagram accounts, and Derek does a Facebook. Derek, you're doing a great job with the Facebook page for the podcast.
Thanks.
So if you wanted to send us an email, the old-fashioned email method, I hate to say this, I remember snail mail. Our email address is management@scifipubcast.space. Keri, what's your Twitter address?
My Twitter handle is Keri Blackfire42. That's Keri Blackfire42.
And you're on some other podcasts, I believe.
Yes, I am on DC Talk, Cape Chronicles, and Enter the Dojo over on the Random Chatter Network.
Perfect. Please check them out. Support your community of geeks and pop culture people. And there's that.
Yes.
Derek, what's your Twitter address?
I'm at Derek J. Beebe.
And if Ren was here, Ren will say he was at Ren_Graham. And also to plug his books such as Before Life and Afterlife Crisis by ECW Press. There you go. Drink. That's a drink. A mandatory drink. Me, I'm at Joel_Welch. So that's where you can find me on Twitter. At this point, our first recording kind of imploded. So hopefully this is going to work. It's closing time. Please make it home safe. Take care. We see you next time. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Music provided courtesy of Logan Rathbone. Podcast logo by Jea Rhea. Copyrighted Joe Welch. Listen responsibly. And we can't wait for your next visit to our fine establishment. Cheers.